As we was leaving Pola de Somiedo, we knew that the ride out of the nature reserve was going to be something to remember. The area was stunning, and much of the scenery was breathtaking. The weather seemed to be taking a turn for the worse, and the mountain tops were surrounded by clouds, which we guessed we would have to ride through, as we knew we would be heading up to get out of this amazing part of Spain. Our stay in Somiedo highlighted the fact that there are hidden gems that aren't common knowledge all over the place, and a little adventure can introduce you to some amazing places. It's almost embarrassing that us Brits venture mainly to the Spanish Med Coast and treat it like a giant alcohol-filled watering hole, when the country has so much more to offer from a cultural point of view. Who knew? The roads around this area are pretty good, to say the least. Good surface, little traffic, and sweeping bends making the ride more enjoyable than most. Then we really started to climb, which helped Somiedo reveal some stunning valleys and dramatic mountains, which you struggle to take your eyes off, making the riding that bit more challenging. We continued to climb this impressive and lush green landscape, every bend we went round revealing views equally as impressive as the last, views you would go a long way to beat. The margin for error though on these roads would be catastrophic, as one mistake could see you off the road and over the edge down into the woodland way below. We soon found ourselves at the top, above the clouds and seemingly on top of the world. We had to stop and look around to take in its beauty. It was deathly quiet, the only noise coming from bird song and the cowbells around the necks of the local free-roaming livestock, who seemed to be oblivious to our presence. What goes up must come down, and so we started to descend back towards sea level until we were stopped by a young cow with an attitude in the middle of the road. Once it decided we was allowed to pass its checkpoint, we could continue our journey. We was heading for Ribadesella. Ribadesella is a Spanish coastal town on the Cantabrian Sea, with a population of around 5,500 and is the hometown of Queen Letizia of Spain, the country's current female sovereign. The town had a very nice long and sweeping beach and promenade, so we decided to push the boat out and book a hotel room with a sea view and balcony. Crap weather, crap ride. Well, not that bad. It started off pretty well, the ride, coming out of the Sommier Nature Reserve. But it was pretty cold. I think it was about 15 degrees. And then we was heading to this place where we are now, which is Ribadesella, and it's a Spanish coastal fishing village, obviously on the north coast of Spain, and it's really nice actually. But some of the places we've had to ride through to get here were pretty shit, to say the least. It was quite industrial, some of it, and quite rough. But you know, you got to take the rough with the smooth. Same with the weather. But we're here in Ribadesella, not far from the Picos. Going to head back into the Picos tomorrow. Not weather permitting, but we're going to be heading there anyway. But hopefully the weather can clear up a little bit, because it's rainy at the moment. It's a little bit windy. But we'll see what tomorrow brings. We're heading up there anyway. We've got to make our way back over to Santander, so we've got to ride in the weather no matter what. So fingers crossed it clears up, so the views are good, and the roads will be nice and dry as well.
After our night at our beachside hotel, we awoke to find the sun-drenched roads were now just drenched. We had a short ride to the town of Arenas De Cabrales planned, where we intended dumping our bags and going off back into the mountains exploring again. The weather was going to slow us down somewhat, as I'm not the most confident of riders in the wet, and it was hammering down on and off to say the least. The journey to our destination would take us around 45 minutes. It was a very wet and dull ride, and we was now realising why northern Spain was so green. The mountain peaks were hidden by the rain-filled clouds, and it looked like the weather had settled in for the day. En route we decided it wasn't worth going riding in this weather. The views would be non-existent, and neither of us were too keen on getting soaked to the skin. Arenas De Cabrales is a small town 4 miles from the Picos that has a permanent population of around 800 people. It's a popular base for walkers and hikers, making it very much a town busiest in the summer months. It's also famous for its local cheese. I didn't try any, not really a fan to be honest.
So it was our last full day today, and unfortunately, I don't know if you could see or if you could tell, but rain has stopped play. What can you do? We've had good weather so far. We are now in Arenas De Cabrales, I think it's called. Only a small little town, not much to do. Certainly can't go riding because the weather's been shocking, so just get sozzled.
After a few beers and having goat and chips for our evening meal, yes, I said goat, we settled into the hotel and got our gear ready for our ride back to Santander tomorrow.